Please spare my life. I don't have any money. But we know you have money in this house. This is all I have. Don't touch this man.
Please take it. There's plenty to share.
Thank you. This means so much to me.
It's okay, my brother. You'll be all right. We can fix this.
A long, long time ago, in a land where the red dust danced with the wind and the palm trees whispered secrets to the sky, there lived a man called Obinna. Obinna was not a rich man. He was not a poor man either. He was the kind of man who had just enough yams in his barn, just enough water in his clay pots, just enough smile on his face to make the whole village feel warm like morning sun. Obinna lived in a small village called Umudike. The village sat between two hills, like a baby sleeping between its mother's arms. The houses were made of red mud and the roofs were made of zinc that sang when the rain came down. There were mango trees everywhere. Big, fat mango trees with branches that spread out like the hands of a grandmother reaching to hug her grandchildren. In this village, everybody knew everybody. The goats knew the chickens knew the dogs, and the dogs knew which house to run to when they wanted bones. That is how small the village was. Obinna was a trader. He bought things from one town and sold them in another town. He traded in cloth, beautiful cloth with colors that looked like the rainbow had fallen from the sky and someone had folded it into neat bundles. He would travel to the big city to buy the cloth, then bring it back to sell in the villages and small towns around. Now, Obinna had one thing that made him different from many other men in the village. Obinna had a kind heart. His heart was so kind that if you cut it open, milk and honey would pour out. That is what the old women in the village used to say. If a child fell down on the road, Obinna would be the first to pick the child up, clean the wound, and carry the child home. If an old woman was struggling to carry her firewood, Obinna would leave whatever he was doing and help her carry it. If a stranger came to the village and had no place to sleep, Obinna would open his door wide, wide, and say, "Come in, my friend. This house is your house tonight." His mother, Mama Obinna, had taught him this. Before he went anywhere, whenever he came home to visit her, she held his hand and always said to him, "My son, the hand that gives is the hand that receives. Be kind to every person you meet on the road of life, because you never know which one of them is carrying your blessing in their pockets." Obinna never forgot those words. He carried them in his heart the way a kangaroo carries its baby in its pouch. Everywhere he went, those words went with him. Now, let's begin the real story. One bright Tuesday morning, the sun woke up early and stretched its golden arms across the sky. The roosters in Umudike crowed so loud that even the clouds moved out of the way. It was a beautiful day. The kind of day that makes you want to sing and dance and clap your hands for no just cause. Obinna woke up that morning and knew he had to travel. He needed to go to the big town called Onitsha to buy more cloth for his trade. Onitsha was far, far away. It was not the kind of place you could walk to. No, no, no. You had to take a bus, a long bus ride that would shake your bones and rattle your teeth and make your bottom sore. Obinna took his bath with cold water from the clay pot. He dressed himself in a clean white shirt and brown trousers. He put on his black shoes, the ones he kept for special occasions and travel days. He picked up his bag, a strong leather bag that his father had given him many years ago. Inside the bag, he put his money, wrapped carefully in a piece of cloth and tucked it deep, deep down where no pickpocket could reach. He locked his door and put the key under the big stone beside the door. That was where everybody in the village hid their keys after all. But nobody stole from anybody in Umidike. It was not done. If you stole in that village, the gods would visit you with a stomach ache so terrible that you would confess before the sun went down. Obinna walked down the dusty path that led to the main road. He greeted everybody he met on his way. Good morning, Papa Chinedu. Good morning, Obinna. Where your leg dey carry you go this early morning? I dey go Onitsha, Papa. Business dey call me o. Travel well, my son. Make road wey carry you go carry you come back. Amen, Papa. Thank you. He walked further and met Mama Nneka, who was sweeping her compound with a broom made from palm fronds. Mama Nneka, good morning, oh. Obinna, my son. You don't wake. Where you dey go with bag this early morning? Onitsha, oh. Mama, I wan go buy cloth. Okay, my son. Make God follow you. Make you come back safe. You hear? I hear, Mama. Thank you. Obinna smiled as he walked. This was what he loved about his village. The love, the warmth, the way everybody cared about everybody. It was like living inside a big warm hug that never ended. He got to the main road and stood by the bus stop. The bus stop was not a fancy place. It was just a spot by the road where an old wooden bench sat under a mango tree. The bench had been there so long that nobody remembered who put it there. Some people said it was the ancestors who put it there. Other people said it was the carpenter Mazi Okoro who made it before he died, but nobody knew for sure. Obinna sat on the bench and waited. He watched the road. A few motorcycles passed by carrying passengers who held on tight, their faces squeezed together like people smelling something bad. A woman walked past with a basin of tomatoes on her head, balanced so perfectly that no one tomato moved. A little boy chased a chicken across the road. The chicken squawked and flapped its wings like it was trying to fly to heaven. Then the bus came. It was an old bus, the kind of bus that had seen better days. Its body was painted yellow and blue, but the paint was peeling off in many places, like the skin of a snake shading its old coat. The engine made a sound like an old man coughing. Bam, 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 bam. Smoke puffed out from the back like the bus was smoking a pipe. But this was the bus. In this part of the world, you did not choose the bus. The bus chose you. Whatever bus came, you entered, whether you liked it or not. You said your prayers, held your bag tight, and hoped for the best. The bus stopped with a screech that made Obinna's ears ring. The conductor, a thin young man with a voice louder than a trumpet, hung from the door and shouted, "Onija, Onija, Onija! Who dey go? Enter with speed, this bus no dey wait person o. If you slow na you sabi. Onija, Onija, Onija! Last bus, enter o, enter!" Obinna stood up, picked up his bag, and walked to the bus. He paid the conductor and climbed inside. The bus was already half full. There were market women with their big bags and basins. There were men in wrinkled shirts. There were children sitting on their mothers' laps, some sleeping, some crying, some looking out the window with wide eyes, watching the world go by. Obinna found a seat. It was near the middle of the bus, by the window. He liked sitting by the window. He liked watching the trees and houses and people flash past like a moving picture. It made the journey look shorter. He sat down and placed his bag on his lap. He said a small prayer in his heart. God, carry me go safe, carry me come back. Amen. The bus began to fill up. More people climbed in. A fat woman with a basket of oranges, a tall man with a briefcase, a young girl with earphones in her ears, nodding her head to music only she could hear, an old man with a walking stick who took forever to climb the steps. Then, just before the conductor was about to close the door, one more person climbed in. And this is where our story truly begins. I sincerely hope you've been enjoying the story so far. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And we will not disappoint. We'll keep bringing you the best stories there is. Thank you. The man who climbed into the bus last was a sight that made many people turn their heads and look away quickly. He was tall, but his tallness was the kind that made you feel sad, not impressed. It was his body that made you think twice. It was like his body was a long stick that life had beaten and bent but not broken. His shoulders were narrow and they slumped forward, like they were tired of carrying the weight of the world. His clothes were torn, not just torn in one place, torn everywhere. His shirt had once been white, but now it was the color of old newspapers, brown, gray, and yellow, all mixed together like a painting gone wrong. The buttons were missing, and the shirt hung open, showing his chest, where his ribs stuck out like the bars of a cage. His trousers were too short for his long legs, stopping somewhere between his knees and his ankles, and they were held by a piece of rope tied around his waist because there was no belt. His feet were bare, no shoes, no slippers, nothing. Just his bare feet, cracked and dusty, with toenails that had not been cut in a long time. They looked like the feet of someone who had walked 1,000 miles on hard, rough roads. His hair was not combed. It was not brushed. It sat on his head like a small bush that nobody had cleared for many months. Tangled, mated, rough. His face was thin, so thin that his cheekbones stuck out sharp, like two small stones pushing against the skin from the inside. His eyes were deep inside his head, like they had gone hiding because they had seen too many hard things. But in those deep eyes, if you looked carefully, you could see something. A small light, a tiny flicker, like a candle that the wind is trying to blow out but it refuses to die. His name was Chike, but nobody on the bus knew that yet. When Chike climbed into the bus, the air changed. People moved their bags closer to themselves. Women pulled their children tighter. Men looked at him from the corner of their eyes, the way you look at a dog you are not sure of whether it's friendly or dangerous. The conductor looked at Chike with a frown. Oga, you get money? This bus na Onitsha, no be free ride. Chike put his hand into his torn pockets and brought out some crumpled notes. They were dirty and folded so many times that they looked like tiny balls of paper. He counted them slowly with shaky hands and gave them to the conductor. The conductor counted the money, grunted, and waved him inside. Chike walked down the aisle of the bus, looking for a seat. But everywhere he went, people filled up the empty seats with their bags, their baskets, their bodies. Nobody wanted him to sit next to them. They looked at his dirty clothes and turned their noses. They looked at his bare feet and shifted away. They looked at his tangled hair and shook their heads. One woman whispered to her friend, "God forbid, make this man no come sit near me. I just wash this cloth." Her friend whispered back, "Shh, no talk loud." But you right, Sha, the cloth dirty well. A man in suit looked at Chike and hissed, "Why this kind person dey enter public bus? No get shame." Chike heard them. He heard every word, every whisper, every hiss. His face did not change. It stayed still and flat, like the surface of a lake on a day with no wind. But inside his chest, his heart was breaking into small pieces, the way dry bread breaks when you squeeze it too hard. He kept walking down the aisle, and then he got to where Obinna was sitting. The seat next to Obinna was empty. Chike stopped. He looked at Obinna. Obinna looked at him. Now, what Obinna saw was not what the other people on the bus saw. The other people saw a dirty man, an unkempt man, a man who smelled like trouble and looked like suffering. But Obinna saw something different. Obinna saw a human being, a person, a child of God just like himself. He saw the tiredness in those deep eyes. He saw the hunger in those sharp cheekbones. He saw the shame in those slumped shoulders. And his heart, that big, kind heart that was filled with milk and honey, squeezed tight in his chest. He remembered his mother's words. Be kind to every person you meet on the road of life, because you never know which one of them is carrying your blessing in their pockets. Obinna moved his bag from the empty seat and placed it on the floor near his feet. He looked up at Chike and smiled. A real smile. Not the kind of smile you give when you are pretending. Not the kind of smile that lives only on your lips and never reaches your eyes. No. This was a smile that started from somewhere deep inside Obinna's chest and traveled up to his face and lit it up like a lantern in the dark. "My brother," Obinna said. "Come sit down, this seat dey free." Chike blinked. He was not sure he had heard correctly. He had been rejected by so many people on this bus that his ears had started to doubt any kind word. "You dey talk to me?" Chike asked. His voice was rough and dry, like sandpaper rubbing against wood. It was the voice of a man who had not spoken to another human being in a long time. "Yes, na," Obinna said, smiling. "Na here I dey follow talk. Come sit down, rest your body. The journey long o." Chike sat down slowly, carefully, like a man sitting on a chair he was not sure could carry his weight. He sat on the very edge of the seat, leaving as much space between himself and Obinna as possible. He did not want to offend this kind stranger with his smell or his dirty clothes. But Obinna was not bothered. Not at all. He sat comfortably and looked at Chike with warm eyes. "My name na Obinna," he said, stretching out his hand for a handshake. Chike frowned. His eyes moved to his hand. He looked at his own hand, dirty and rough. He hesitated. "No worry," Obinna said gently. "Hand na hand. Na the same God make all of us." Chike slowly reached out and took Obinna's hand. They shook. Chike's hand was rough and calloused, the hand of a man who had done hard labor. But the handshake was gentle, almost shy. "My name na Chike," he said quietly. "Chike? Na fine name be that o," Obinna said. "Chike mean God's power, abi?" A tiny smile touched the corner of Chike's mouth. It was so small you might have missed it if you were not looking carefully. But it was there. "Yes," Chike said. "Na wetin e mean o." "You see," Obinna said, "your name na strong name. You go dey alright." The bus started to move. The engine coughed, the body shook, and they were on their way. The road was long and bumpy, full of potholes that made the bus and the passengers bounce on their seats like beans in a shaking pot. Obinna and Chike sat side by side as the bus rumbled along. For the first few minutes, they sat in silence. Chike stared out the window, but his eyes were not seeing the trees or the houses or the red dust rising from the road. His eyes were looking at something far away, something that only he could see. Perhaps he was looking at his past. Perhaps he was looking at all the things that had gone wrong in his life that had brought him to this bus. In these torn clothes, with no shoes on his feet and sadness sitting on his shoulders like a heavy bag of stones. Obinna, being the kind man that he was, did not push. He did not ask questions right away. He knew that this man was hurting. And when a man is hurting, you do not poke his wound with a stick. You sit quietly beside him. You let him know you are there. And when he is ready to talk, he will talk. After about 30 minutes, the bus stopped at a small junction. A woman got on the bus selling bread and groundnuts. Bread, fresh bread, groundnuts. Buy your sweet groundnuts, buy your fresh bread. The smell of the fresh bread filled the bus. It was a warm, lovely smell that made mouth water and stomachs grumble. It was the kind of smell that grabbed you by the nose and pulled you close. Obinna heard a sound. A small sound. A quiet sound. Like a tiny drum being beaten softly. He looked over and realized it was Chike's stomach. Chike's stomach was growling. Not a small growl. A big, loud, angry growl. The kind of growl that says, "Feed me. I have not eaten in a long time and I am angry about it." Chike pressed his hand against his stomach, trying to quiet it. His face burnt with shame. He turned his head away from Obinna and pretended to look out the window. Obinna did not say a word. He simply raised his hand and called the bread seller. "Madam, come. Give me 4 bread and 2 groundnuts." The woman came over, smiling wide, and gave Obinna 4 big loaves of bread and 2 bags of roasted groundnuts. Obinna paid her and thanked her. Then he turned to Chike. "Chike, my brother," Obinna said, "make we chop. Journey long o, and belle wey empty no good make person travel." He held out 2 loaves of bread and 1 bag of groundnuts to Chike. Chike stared at the food. His eyes grew wide. His lips trembled. For a moment, it looked like he was going to cry. But he did not cry. He swallowed hard, and his Adam's apple moved up and down in his thick neck like a bag going through a pipe. "Obinna," Chike said, his voice shaking. "Why you dey do like this? You no even sabi me. You no know where I take come from. You no know who I be. Why you dey give me food?" Obinna shrugged his shoulders like it was the simplest thing in the world. "Baba hunger dey hold you," Obinna said. "I get food now. Na so life suppose be. Today na me. Tomorrow na you. No be so?" Chike took the bread and groundnuts with both hands, the way you receive something precious, something sacred. He held the food close to his chest for a moment, as if he was hugging it. Then he began to eat. And the way Chike ate, you could tell that this man had not eaten properly in days, maybe weeks. He ate like the food might run away if he did not eat it fast enough. He tore the bread with his teeth and chewed quickly, his jaw working hard, his eyes half closed with the pleasure of having something solid in his stomach after so long. Obinna ate his own bread slowly, watching Chike from the corner of his eye. He did not stir. He did not make Chike feel like an animal in a cage being watched by visitors. He was curious, and that was okay. But he just ate quietly and let Chike enjoy his food in peace. When Chike finished eating, he wiped his mouth with the back of his hand and let out a long breath. It was the kind of breath that comes from deep down, from a place where relief lives. His shoulders dropped a bit. The tightness in his face loosened just a bit. The food had done more than fill his stomach. It had warmed something inside him that had been cold for a very long time. "Thank you," Chike said. The two words came out soft and heavy, loaded with more meaning than two simple words usually carry. "No thank me. Na God." They sat quietly for a while together. The bus hummed along. Outside, the world moved past them, villages, farms, forests, rivers. Inside, two men sat side by side, one who had everything he needed and the one who had nothing at all. Then Chike began to talk. He started slowly, like a tap that drips one drop at a time before the water flows freely. He started with small things. Where he was from, a village called Amafo, far in the east. How he had grown up with his mother and father and 3 sisters. How his father had been a farmer who grew cassava and maize. How his mother had been a trader who sold palm oil in the market. Then the story grew heavier. Chike's voice dropped lower, and the words came out harder, like they were rocks he was pulling from deep inside his chest. "My papa died when I be small boy," Chike said. "I be like 10 years old that time. He sick. We be no get money to carry and go hospital. So he just lie down for house. He dey sick. Until one day, he sleep, he no wake up." Obinna listened quietly. He did not say sorry yet. He knew there was more. "After my papa died," Chike continued, "my mama tried. She tried well. She sell palm oil. She sell farm. She dey farm small. She dey go people farm. She dey do everything make we chop. But my brother life hard. He hard pass rock. Let me tell you. My sisters them. I be the only boy. So I say make I go city, make I find work. Make I help my family. Want to say people don't dey talk, say how man go dey day house." Chike paused and looked at his bare feet. "I go city empty hand," he said. "No money, no connection. I no even sabi anybody as I just wake up one morning and say I wan go city. I sleep for road. I sleep for under bridge. Anything where I dey see, I dey walk. I dey carry cement, I dey carry motor, I dey wash am, I dey go people mechanic shop, try dey do 1 or 2. I dey even wash gutter. Anything wey go put food for my belle first, make I no kpai." Then one day, Chike said, and his voice cracked like a stick snapping, "One man see me now. He promised me work. He say make I come work for am, say he go pay me better money. I no even think am. I follow am. I work for am for 6 months. 6 months, Obinna. Every day I go dey wake up before rooster go even make noise. Every night I dey sleep. I dey sleep after don sleep. I dey work like donkey. But when time reach make him pay me, Baba dey yarn o. The man chase me comot. He say no owe me anything. He bring big men with stick. And then beat me, throw me for road like rubbish. Obinna's jaw tightened. His fists clenched on his lap. Not with anger at Chike. With anger at the world that could treat a human being this way. Since that time, Chike said, I dey wonder, I dey waka. I no fit go back my village because shame dey catch me. I promise my mama say I go come back, bring her money. I go bring better life. Normal story wey they been dey tell us as we been dey grow up. Say person dey go city, him come back, everybody life change. How I want to go back the way I dey? Nothing gone me. I won't go back village, they look like this. He gestured at his torn clothes, his bare feet, his tangled hair. So I just dey waka or anywhere I dey see I dey waka, dey find anything. At this point, I don't even know wetin I dey find. I just dey find anything. But my brother, I no see anything. Even the small work where I been dey do before, where I been dey manage, I no dey even see am. Come be like say life don't forget me now. Obinna. Na like say I no even dey. When Chike finished talking, the bus was quiet. The other passengers were dozing or chatting or looking out the window. But between Obinna and Chike, the air was thick with the weight of Chike's story. It hung between them like a heavy blanket. Obinna turned to Chike and looked him straight in the eye. Chike, Obinna said, and his voice was firm but gentle, like a father talking to his child. Life never forgets you. God no fit forget you. See, today, me and you dey sit for this same bus. Out of all the seats for this bus, na for my side you consider. You think say na mistake? No be mistake, my brother, na destiny. Chike looked at Obinna with surprise. I no be rich man, no. Obinna continued. I no be big man, but one thing wey I know be say condition no dey permanent. I sabi am say condition no go dey permanent. Today dey hard, but tomorrow fit better. The thing be say you still dey alive, say you still dey breathe, say you still dey move. That one mean say your story never finish. God still dey write your story, Chike. God never put full stop. He just put comma. Something happened to Chike's face when Obinna said those words. The hardness that had been sitting on it like a mask began to crack. The deep lines on his forehead softened. The tightness around his mouth loosened. And those deep eyes that had been hiding in his skull came forward just a little, and in them, for the first time in a long time, there was something that looked like hope. You think so? Chike asked, and his voice sounded like a child's voice, small and uncertain. My brother, I don't think so, Obinna said. I sabi, I know. The bus rolled on. The sun moved across the sky from east to west, painting the clouds orange and pink and gold. Hours passed. The road stretched on and on like a long brown ribbon, unrolling in front of them. They talked and talked about life, about family, about dreams, about the small things that make life sweet, like the taste of roasted corn on a rainy day, or the sound of children laughing in the compound, or the feeling of cool water on your face after a long walk in the sun. And something magical happened during that journey. A friendship was born. Not the kind of friendship that takes months or years to grow, but the kind that happens when two souls recognize each other, like two pieces of a puzzle that fit together perfectly. It was instant. It was real. It was true. Finally, after many hours, the bus pulled into Onitsha, the big town. The town where the market was so large that if you entered in the morning, you might not find your way out until evening. The town where everything was for sale and everyone was buying or selling or shouting or running. One thing was, business was moving. The bus stopped at the motor park. The passengers began to climb out, stretching their stiff legs and rubbing their sore bottoms. The conductor was shouting again, telling people to take their bags and move quickly. Obinna stood up and picked up his bag. He stepped into the aisle and then turned back to Chike. Chike, my brother, come, make we comot. Chike stood up slowly. He looked nervous. His eyes darted around the motor park, at all the people and the buses and the noise. He looked like a man who did not know where he was going or what he was doing next. They climbed out of the bus together. The noise of the motor park hit them like a wall. Horns blaring, conductors shouting, music blasting from shops, people moving in every direction like ants in an anthill. It was chaos, beautiful, wonderful, African chaos. Obinna led Chike to a quiet spot under a big tree at the edge of the motor park. They stood there, the two of them in the shade. Chike, Obinna said, where you dey go from here? Chike looked at the ground, his bare toes curled in the dust. I no know. Chike said quietly, I no get where I wan go. I just dey follow the bus because I need leave where I been dey. I need comot that place. I no get plan. I no get anything. Obinna's heart squeezed tight in his chest. He thought about his own home, his own warm bed, his own food in his kitchen. And here was this man, this tall, thin man with no shoes and no plan and no place to go. Obinna reached into his bag and brought out his money. He counted some notes carefully. It was not a small amount. It was money he had planned to use for his business. Good money. The kind of money that could buy many, many things. He folded the notes and held them out to Chike. Take this, Obinna said. Chike's eyes went wide. So wide that his eyeballs looked like they might fall out of his head. Obinna, no, I no fit collect your money. You don already buy food for me. You don already give me your seat. You don already give me your time. I no fit take your money on top now. No. Chike, listen to me, Obinna said firmly. This money na for your transport. Na for your food. Na for you to take care of yourself small. I know say e no plenty. I know say e no go solve all your wahala, but e go help you today. And today na the only day wey we dey sure of. Tomorrow na God go provide am. Chike's hands were shaking as he took the money. His whole body was shaking, and this time he could not stop the tears. They came rolling down his thin cheeks like two small rivers flowing down a dry hillside. He did not make any sound. He just stood there, holding the money, crying silently while the motor park buzzed and hummed around them. Obinna, Chike said, his voice broken and wet with tears. I no go forget this day. I no go forget you for my whole life. If God give me life, I no go forget wetin you don do for me today. You be the first person wey don treat me like human being. E don tey. E don tey since person look me like say I be human being. E don tey well well. Obinna put his hand on Chike's shoulder and squeezed it gently. All of us na human being, Chike. And the same blood dey run for all of us, red blood. No be say my own matter better pass your own. Na the same thing. So my brother, no cry. Clean your face. Hold your head up. Your better days dey come. I dey feel am for my spirit. Chike wiped his tears with his torn sleeve. He held the money tight like a man holding a treasure. They stood together for a few more minutes, talking about small things. Then it was time for Obinna to go to the market and do his business. Chike, I go need enter market now, Obinna said. But make I tell you something. If you dey ever find yourself for the area where we been meet, for Umudike village, ask for Obinna, the cloth trader. Anybody go show you my house. You be my brother now. My door always open anytime where you want. Chike nodded. He could not speak anymore. His throat was too full of feelings to let words pass through. They shook hands one last time. Obinna squeezed Chike's hand firm and strong like he was passing something invisible from his hand to Chike's hand. Strength, courage, hope. Then Obinna turned and walked into the market, his leather bag swinging by his side, his white shirt bright in the afternoon sun. Chike stood under the tree and watched him go. He watched until Obinna disappeared into the crowd. And even after Obinna was gone, Chike stood there, staring at the spot where he had last seen him, as if he was trying to keep the image of that kind man burned into his memory forever. Then Chike turned and walked away, into the noise and the dust and the chaos of Onitsha. But he walked differently now. His shoulders were not as slumped. His head was a little higher. His steps were a little firmer. The bread in his belly and the money in his pockets had helped. But it was not just the bread and the money. It was the kindness, the respect, the way Obinna had looked at him and seen a human being, not a dirty, unkept man to be avoided. That was what had changed something inside Chike. That was what had lit a small fire in his chest, a fire that whispered, "You are somebody. You matter. You are not forgotten." 3 weeks passed. 21 days, 504 hours, 30,240 minutes. In those 3 weeks, the world kept turning. The sun rose and set. The moon came and went. The rains fell and stopped. Life moved on, the way it always does, like a river that never stops flowing, no matter what falls into it. Obinna came back from Onitsha with his cloth. He sold the cloth in the villages and small towns and made good money. He was happy. Business was good. Life was peaceful. He went to church on Sundays. He greeted his neighbors. He helped the old woman carry her firewood. He played with the children in the compound. He lived his life the way he always did. Simply, kindly, with that big warm smile that made people feel like everything was going to be all right. Sometimes, in the quiet moments of the evening, when the sun was going down and the sky was painted with fire, Obinna would sit on the wooden bench outside his house and think about Chike. He would wonder where Chike was. He would wonder if Chike had found food, if Chike had found shelter, if Chike had found work, if Chike was safe. He said a prayer for Chike every night before he slept. A simple prayer. God, wherever Chike dey, make you hold am for me. Keep am safe. Give am better days. In Jesus' name, amen. And then he would close his eyes and sleep, and the night would wrap around him like a dark blanket, warm and quiet. But something was happening in the area around Umudike that Obinna did not know about. Something dark, something dangerous, something that moved in the shadows like a snake slithering around tall grass. Robbers. Armed robbers. Armed robbers had come to the area. Not the small thieves who stole chickens and yams. No. These were big men. Hard men. Men with guns and knives and hearts made of stone. They came at night when the world was sleeping, and they broke into houses and took everything. Money, jewelry, electronics, anything they could carry. They had already struck 2 villages near Umudike. In the first village, they had broken into 5 houses in one night. They had tied up the owners, put guns to their heads, and taken everything. In the second village, they had been even worse. They had beaten an old man so badly that he had to be taken to the hospital. They had slapped a woman and snatched her earrings right from her ears, tearing the flesh. The people were afraid. Fear spread through the villages like smoke from a bushfire. People started locking their doors early. People stopped walking at night. People whispered about the robbers in low, frightened voices, as if saying their names too loud might summon them. But Obinna, though he heard the stories, was not too worried. Umudike had never been attacked before. It was a small village tucked away between the hills. What would robbers want from a small village like this? There was no big money in Umudike. No gold, no banks, just farmers and traders and ordinary people living their ordinary lives. But Obinna was wrong. Very, very wrong. It happened on a Thursday night. Thursday, the day before market day. The night when Obinna usually stayed up a little late, counting his cloth, arranging his goods, preparing for the big market day on Friday. The night was dark. Very dark. The kind of dark where you cannot see your own hand in front of your face. The moon was hiding behind thick clouds, as if it knew what was coming and did not want to watch. The air was still, no wind, no breeze. Even the crickets, who usually sang their songs all night long, were quiet. The silence was not a peaceful silence. It was the kind of silence that comes before something terrible happens. The kind of silence that makes the hair on your arms stand up and your heart beat a little faster. Obinna was inside his house. He had finished arranging his cloth and was about to go to bed. He was tired. His eyes were heavy. He yawned a big yawn that made his jaw crack. He blew out his kerosene lantern. The room went dark. He lay down on his bed and pulled his wrapper over himself. Just as his eyes were closing, he heard a sound. Bang! His door exploded inward. The wooden frame splintered and cracked. The door swung open and hit the wall with a crash that shook the whole house. Obinna's eyes flew open. His heart jumped into his throat. He sat up in bed, his body shaking, his mind spinning. Dark figures poured into his room. 1, 2, 3, 4 men. 4 big men. Their faces were covered with masks. Dark clothes wrapped around their heads so that only their eyes were showing. Their eyes were wild and red like eyes of animals in the night. And in their hands, they held guns. Nobody move, nobody talk. If you shout, I blow your head. The voice came from the biggest man, the one standing in front. His voice was deep and rough, like gravel rolling in a drum. He pointed his gun straight at Obinna's face. Obinna could not breathe. His chest was tight, like somebody had wrapped a rope around it and was pulling it tighter and tighter. He could see the gun, the dark hole at the end of it, the barrel. It was pointed right at him, right between his eyes, and it was the most terrifying things he had ever seen in his life. Where the money dey? The big man shouted. Bring everything, money, phone, gold, bring 'em now. Nah. If you waste my time, I buy you. Obinna's mouth opened but no words came out. His tongue was stuck to the roof of his mouth like it had been glued there. He was shaking so badly that his bed was shaking with him. You know they hear me. Another robber shouted. The one was shorter, with a scar across his face that looked like a lightning bolt. Oga talk say make you bring money. You won't die. Please, Obinna managed to say. His voice came out as a whisper, thin and trembling, like a leaf shaking in the wind. Please, I beg you. No kill me, I go give you everything, I beg. Then bring 'em, the big man roared. Obinna stumbled out of bed. His legs were like rubber, his knees knocked together. He went to the corner of the room where he kept his money in a small metal box under a pile of cloth. His hands shook so much that he could barely open the box, but he managed. He opened it and brought out the money. All his money. Everything he had worked for. Everything he had earned from selling his clothes. He held it out to the robbers with both hands, the way a man holds out an offering to the gods, begging, pleading, praying. The big man snatched the money and stuffed it into a bag. Waiting else you get. Wetin dey this house? The big man demanded. Na everything, Obinna said. I swear, na everything. I no get anything else. I be just trader, I no rich, money I no really get. Please, collect the money dey go, I beg you. The big man looked around the room. He saw the piles of cloth. Carry those clothes, he ordered his men. 2 of them began grabbing bundles of cloth and stuffing them into large sacks they had brought. Obinna watched as everything he had was taken from him. His cloth, his money, his livelihood, his future, everything. He felt like he was watching a flood wash away his house while he stood helpless on the bank. When they had taken everything, the big man turned back to Obinna. You lucky say I dey good mood this night, the big man said. If not, bullets you for collect. Make you dey thank God say you still dey alive. He turned to leave. The other robbers followed. But then, the big man stopped. He turned back. His eyes narrowed behind his mask. Wait, he said. He looked at Obinna more carefully. This man face be like person face where I sabi. He look like say he get better money where he still dey hide. Make una check this whole house. Make una turn am upside down. The robbers turned back. They began to tear the house apart. They overturned the bed. They ripped open bags. They threw pots and plates on the ground. The sound of breaking things filled the air. Crash, bang, shatter. And then one of the robbers found something. A small pouch hidden inside the mattress. Inside the pouch were a few more notes of money that Obinna had been saving for emergencies. His emergency fund. His last resort. The robber held it up triumphantly. Oga, see am o. The man hide am for inside mattress. The big man's eyes blazed with fury. So you dey hide money, abi? He shouted at Obinna. You think say you wise? You dey follow me lie? You think say I be fool? He raised his gun and pointed it straight at Obinna's forehead. His finger tightened on the trigger. This was it. This was the moment. Obinna knew with a certainty that this man standing right in front of him, was going to pull the trigger. The certainty that made his blood turn to ice, that he was going to die. Right here, right now, in his house, on a Thursday night. His life was going to end with a bang and a flash and then nothing. He closed his eyes. He thought of his mother. He thought of her warm hands and her kind eyes and her words. The hand that gives is the hand that receives. Please, Obinna whispered. Please, I beg you. Na small money. I forget say e dey there. I no mean hide am, abeg. I get people where they depend on me, abeg, no kill me. Tears rolled down his face. They fell on the floor like drops of rain. The big man's finger was on the trigger. The gun was steady. The room was silent except for Obinna's breathing, fast and shallow like a rabbit's. And then, stop. The voice came from behind the big man. It was loud and sharp like a whip cracking in the air. Everyone froze. The big man turned around slowly. The fourth robber, the one who had been standing by the door, quiet and still the whole time, stepped forward. He walked into the faint light coming through the broken door. He reached up and pulled the mask from his face. And Obinna saw a face he recognized. It was Chike. The room went completely silent. The kind of silence that is louder than any noise. The kind of silence that rings in your ears and pounds in your chest. Obinna stared at Chike. Chike stared at Obinna. For a long moment, nobody moved. Nobody spoke. Nobody breathed. Chike's face had changed from the last time Obinna had seen him. He had filled out a little. His cheeks were not as hollow. His eyes were not as deep in his skull. He was wearing proper clothes now. Dark clothes. The kind of clothes that robbers wear. And he was holding a gun. But his face was the same face, and Obinna knew it. He knew it the way you know your own mother's face. The way you know the sky is blue and the grass is green. Chike, Obinna whispered. His voice was barely a sound, more like a breath that happened to carry a name. Chike's gun hand dropped to his side. His whole body changed. The hardness, the toughness, the dangerous look that he had been wearing like armor, all of it fell away. And underneath, Obinna could see the same man he had met on the bus 3 weeks ago. The same lost, hurting, struggling man with deep eyes and slumped shoulders. Obinna, Chike said, and his voice cracked like an egg hitting a stone. The big man looked from Chike to Obinna and back again. His eyebrows came together in confusion. Wetin dey happen here? The big man demanded. You sabi am? Chike turned to the big man, and something changed in Chike's posture. He stood up straighter. His shoulders went back. His chin lifted. And when he spoke, his voice was strong and firm, and full of something that had not been there before. You go leave am, Chike said. You say wetin? The big man said, his face twisting with confusion and anger. You dey craze? You no fit leave am. You don see her face. I say, you go leave this man, Chike repeated. And this time, his voice was like thunder. It filled the room and bounced off the walls. This man, you dey see so. You no go touch am. You no go do am anything. You no go collect anything from him hand. Everything wey you don collect from am, return am. The big man laughed. A cold, hard laugh with no humor in it. Chike, be like say you don dey craze. Na work we come here do. This na the job. You no know how this thing dey work. You no dey leave am like that o. Chike raised his gun, but he did not point it at Obinna. He pointed it at the big man. The room went cold. Ice cold. The other two robbers stepped back, their eyes wide with shock. I say, you go leave this man, Chike said, and his voice was calm now. Calm and deadly, like the surface of a river that has a dangerous current underneath. This man saved my life. When the whole world turned their back on me, now this man show me kindness. When hunger nearly kpai me, now this man buy me food. When I no get transport money, this man give me money. When everybody they look me like say I be animal, this man they look me like say I be human being. Chike's voice was shaking now, but not with fear, with emotion. Deep, powerful emotion that was rising from the bottom of his soul like water from a well. This man, Chike continued, pointing at Obinna with his free hand while keeping the gun trained on the big man. This man na the reason why I still dey alive today. The money wey he give me for that bus, na that money I use chop for days until I find small work. Na the kindness wey he show me make me no throw myself inside river that night when I bin wan give up. This man save my life. And I no go stand here dey watch anybody dey take my own person. Na my brother be this. The big man stared at Chike for a long, long time. The gun was pointed at his chest. Chike's hand was steady. No shaking, no trembling. Rock steady. The big man was many things, but he was not stupid. He could see in Chike's eyes that this was not a bluff. Chike was ready to pull the trigger. He was ready to fight. He was ready to die for this man he had met on a bus 3 weeks ago. Slowly, the big man lowered his gun. You dey serious? The big man said. It was not a question. I never dey more serious for my life, Chike replied. A long silence stretched between them. Then the big man shook his head. Okuna go return everything, the big man said to the other robbers. The two robbers looked at each other with confused faces, but they did not argue. They put down the sacks of cloth, they brought out the money, they put everything back. Every single thing. The big man looked at Chike one more time. A long, hard look, and then he turned to Obinna. You get luck, the big man said. You get person wey ready to die for you. My brother, that one no common, value am. Then the big man walked out of the house. The other two robbers followed. Their footsteps faded into the dark night until there was only silence. Chike and Obinna stood in the wrecked room. Chike slowly lowered his gun. He looked at it in his hand like he was seeing it for the first time, like he did not understand how it got there. Then he put it down on the floor, gently, like he was putting down something poisonous. He turned to Obinna. Obinna, Chike said, and his voice was small again, small and broken and full of shame. I dey sorry. I dey sorry well. I know say wetin I dey do no good. I know say this life where I dey live, this life where we dey collect things from people dey point gun for their head, no be the kind life where a good person suppose dey live. But when I leave Onitsha that day after you help me, I try. I swear, Obinna, I been try. I look for work. I beg. I hustle, but nothing show. Na im those men come find me. They tell me say make I follow them. They go give me money. Obinna, hunger na bastard. Obinna, hunger nearly take my life. Me, I dey desperate. So I follow them, but I swear I never hurt anybody. On my father's grave, I swear I never hurt anybody. I dey always stand for door. I no fit bring myself come dey do person bad thing. But I know say even as I dey stand for door, nothing fit change the fact say I dey among. And I know say na wrong thing. Tears were flowing down Chike's face now. Not the silent tears from the bus. These were loud, broken tears. The kind that shake your whole body. The kind that come from a place so deep inside you that they carry pieces of your soul with them. Obinna looked at this man. This tall, thin man who had once had nothing and was given something small, and who had just risked his life, his freedom, everything to pay back that small kindness. Obinna stepped forward and did something that surprised even himself. He hugged Chike. He wrapped his arms around Chike's thin body and held him tight. The way a brother holds a brother. The way a friend holds a friend. The way one human being holds another when words are not enough. Chike broke down completely. He sobbed into Obinna's shoulder, his body shaking like a tree in a storm. All the pain, all the shame, all the hunger and the loneliness and the desperation, and the bad choices and the regrets, all of it came pouring out of him in those tears. And Obinna held them. He held him and did not let him go. It's okay, my brother. Obinna said softly. It's okay. You go dey alright, we go fix am. I promise you we go fix this. They stood there for a long time, two men in a broken room, in a dark village, in the middle of the night, holding each other while the world slept. When the tears finally stopped, when the shaking finally calmed, when the storm inside Chike finally died down to a gentle breeze, they sat on the floor among the scattered pots and overturned furniture. Obinna stared at Chike with serious eyes. Chike, Obinna said, you saved me this night though. Shey you know. If you no talk, that man for kpai me. I for don die this night. Now you save me. Chike shook his head. No, Obinna. Chike said, now you save yourself. 3 weeks ago, for that bus, you save yourself. You no know am that time, but that bread where you buy, that money where you give me, that seat where you offer, that smile where you smile. Now those things save you tonight. You plant seed of kindness that day. Tonight, that seed grew into a tree where shelter you from the storm. Obinna stared at Chike. Then, slowly, a smile spread across his face. That big, warm, and beautiful smile. My mama tell me something before she died, Obinna said. She talk say, the hand that gives is the hand that receives. I never fully understand am until this night. Chike nodded. Your mama na wise woman. She be the wisest. They sat in silence for a moment, and then Obinna spoke again. Chike, I want ask you something, and I want make you answer me true. Ask me anything. You won't live this robbing life? This thing where you dey carry gun, dey go people house, they collect their properties. You won't leave am? Chike looked at Obinna, and in his eyes, Obinna saw the answer before Chike even opened his mouth. With all my heart, Chike said, I hate this life for Obinna. I hate time with every bone inside my body. I no wan be this person. This no be me. This no be who I be. I wan be somebody wey if I look my mama look me. Pride go just dey surround both of us. Somebody, my dead papa go look down from heaven dey smile. I wan be somebody wey my name go mean something good. No be something wey once they call my name, everywhere go just dey shake. People go dey fear. Obinna nodded. Then stay, Obinna said simply. Stay here for Omodike. I go give you work for my cloth business. The pay no go big at first, but e go dey enough make you for see food chop. You go get shelter. You go have chance to start again. New life, clean life. Chike's mouth fell open. You mean am? You go do am for me? After wetin just happen? After you don see say I be robber, you still wan help me? Chike, Obinna said. When I meet you for that bus, I no see robber. Na human being I see. And today, tonight, right now, I still no see robber. I see my brother wey dey lost and he need person make person lead am. And the small wey I sabi, I go lead am. So wetin, you go take am? Chike could not speak for a long time. His jaw moved, but no words came out. His eyes filled with tears again, but this time they were different tears. Not tears of pain, not tears of shame. These were tears of gratitude, tears of relief, tears of a man who had been drowning and someone had just thrown him a rope. I go take am, Chike whispered. I swear on everything holy, I go take am and I go make you proud, Obinna. I go make you proud. Obinna stretched out his hand. Chike took it. They shook, firm and strong. From today, Chike said, his voice shaking with the weight of his promise. I swear I go protect you. You and your family. With my last breath, no person go touch you as long as I dey alive. This, I swear, na my oath. Obinna squeezed Chike's hand. And from today, Obinna said, you be my brother. You no be my friend. Brother. Blood no need be the same for two men to be brothers. The heart dey enough. And so it was. Chike left the robbing life that very night. He never went back. He never picked up a gun again. He stayed in Umudike and he worked for Obinna in the cloth trade. He worked hard, harder than any worker Obinna had ever had. He woke up before the roosters and he did not rest until the stars came out. He carried bundles of cloth that weighed more than himself. He walked miles to sell in distant villages. He learned the business from top to bottom, inside and out. And slowly, day by day, week by week, month by month, Chike changed. His body filled out. His shoulders straightened. His eyes came out from the deep place where they had been hiding and sat properly on his face, bright and clear. He cut his hair. He bought new clothes. He walked with his head high and his back straight. The village people watched this transformation with wonder. They saw the ragged man who had come with nothing turned into a strong, hardworking, honest man. They did not know his past. They did not know where he came from or what he had done. All they knew was that Obinna had brought him, and if Obinna vouched for him, that was good enough. Chike kept his oath. He protected Obinna like a lion protects its cubs. When strangers came to the village with bad intentions, Chike would stand at Obinna's gate, tall and firm, and the strangers would take one look at his face and turn around. There was something in Chike's eyes, a fire, a fierceness, a warning that told people, do not try it, not here, not this man. And Obinna, for his part, kept his promises too. He treated Chike like a brother. He fed him. He sheltered him. He gave him his first real wages. He taught him how to save money. He taught him how to speak to customers. He taught him everything he knew about the cloth business. 1 year later, Chike had saved enough money to send some to his mother and sisters in Amafo village. When the money reached his mother, she cried for 3 days straight. She had thought her son was dead. She had mourned him. And now, money came in the post with a letter that said, Mama, I am alive. I am well. God sent me an angel. His name is Obinna. 2 years later, Chike went home to visit his family. He went dressed in fine clothes, with shoes on his feet and money in his pocket. His mother fell to her knees when she saw him and thanked God until her voice went hoarse. His sisters hugged him so tight that he could not breathe. 3 years later, Chike started his own small cloth business, right beside Obinna's, not as a competitor, as a partner, side by side, brother by brother. And the two of them prospered. Their businesses grew. They built bigger houses. They married good wives. They had children. Their children played together in the compound, chasing chickens and climbing mango trees and laughing the way children laugh when the world is safe and good. Many, many years later, when Obinna and Chike were old men with grey hair and wrinkled faces and grandchildren sitting on their knees, they would sit on the bench outside Obinna's house in the evenings. They would watch the sun go down and paint the sky with its final colors. And they would tell this story. Obinna would start. Once upon a time, there was a man on a bus. And Chike would continue. And another man gave him bread. And their grandchildren would sit with wide eyes and open mouths, listening to every word. And that bread, Obinna would say, that small bread saved my life. No, Chike would correct him smiling. That bread saved both our lives. And the children would ask, but Grandpa, how can bread save a life? And Obinna would look at Chike, and Chike would look at Obinna, and they would both smile, the kind of smile that old friends share when they had a secret that only they understand. Because my children, Obinna would say, kindness is the most powerful thing in the world. It is stronger than guns. It is stronger than money. It is stronger than fear. When you are kind to somebody, you plant a seed, and that seed will grow. You may not see it grow today. You may not see it grow tomorrow. But one day, when you need it most, that seed will become a mighty tree that shelters you from the storm. So be kind. Chike would add, his old voice warm and deep. Be kind to everybody you meet. The stranger on the road, the beggar at the junction, the dirty man on the bus. Be kind because you never know. You never know. That person might be the one who saves your life one day. And the children would nod their small heads, their young minds catching the lesson like buckets catching rain. And the night would fall gently over Umudike village, and the stars would come out one by one, like tiny lanterns in the sky. And somewhere in the darkness, a cricket would begin to sing, and the palm trees would whisper to each other, swaying softly in the breeze, telling the story over and over and over again. The story of Obinna and Chike. The story of a loaf of bread and a bus seat. The story of how a small act of kindness on an ordinary Tuesday morning saved a man's life on a dark Thursday night. The story of how Obinna saved his own life by saving someone else's. And that, my children, is how the old ones told it. And that is how I tell it to you. And one day, when you are old and grey and sitting under your own mango tree, you will tell it too. Because stories like this must never die. They must live on. From mouth to ear, from heart to heart, from generation to generation, forever and ever. Because kindness never dies. It just keeps growing. So the next time you see a stranger that looks tired, who looks hungry, who looks like the world has been unkind to them, remember Obinna. Remember the bread. Remember the bus seat. Remember the smile. And be kind. You never know whose life you are saving. You might just be saving your own. If this story moved you, if it made you meditate, ponder on your actions and the actions of others, I would love to hear your view and perspective on it. And if you want more stories like this, stories that dig deep into the human heart and don't shy away from difficult questions, make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell. Share this video with someone who needs it, who needs to hear this message about kindness. Take good care of yourselves until our next story.